Brad, what's the expectation this week after last week?
Well, we always know what we're going to get from the Swans. You know, I was up at the SCG personally, and it's one of probably the best 9-goal defeats I've seen in a long time. They're an extremely competitive side, the Swans. They tackle exceptionally well. They compete very well. They're one of the most disciplined sides in the competition, so we know exactly what we're going to get from them. And twice last year they were able to comprehensively beat us, so it's going to be a huge challenge for us and one that we're really looking forward to.
After the visit to Brisbane, how hard has it been to muster the boys back up again?
No, it's never a problem for this group. Effort's never been anything I've ever questioned. Execution is something we've got to really work on, but I'll never question their effort or endeavour, or I haven't had to this point. So, getting up after the trip hasn't been a problem at all, and they're really looking forward to atoning for what was a pretty disappointing second half last week.
What do you have to do better to beat the Swans than you did last week?
Well, I think last week our contested ball and our clearance work was outstanding. So it was really unusual to lose a game where those two facets of the game were so good for us. So, we've addressed some issues that didn't work for us in the second half in terms of the structure that we wanted to put in place. So, the good thing about that is they're very easy things to fix. It's the continual development of our skill execution that's the main focus of our training.
Is Cam Pedersen a chance for promotion this week?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, had a really good performance for Werribee, and Ben McKinley and Cam Pedersen kicked 12 goals between them. So they're in good form, and that has been one really pleasing part of the last month for us. Is that Werribee and North Ballarat have been in really good form, and we saw from the inclusion of Luke Delaney playing at fullback for North Ballarat at the start of the year and coming in and playing first up game on Jonathan Brown was fantastic. So the form of our VFL affiliate sides is really encouraging for us.
And Levi Greenwood, any closer?
Yeah, Levi's now available for selection. So he had a really good game for Werribee on the weekend and has been training really well and been training fully for over a month. So he's now available, and it's now a match committee decision. It's out of the medicos' hands. So that's really pleasing. And Ryan Bastanak will make his comeback probably in the VFL reserves this week too. So he's not available for senior selection yet, but he's back playing footy, which is really encouraging for him and encouraging for the club. So we're starting to get some players filter back into our side.
And Grimer's still a week or two left?
Oh, at least a week or two. Yeah, he had surgery only late last week, so he'll be a little bit away, but it's just a finger, so he can still train and he can still do everything. So as soon as that finger's healed, he'll be right to come back in.
So you're looking to change a couple over?
I think there'll be some changes. Yeah, I think there's that's inevitable, and with the combination of some players in really good form at VFL level and some players who probably look a little bit overdone at the moment and in need of a rest. So we'll finalise match committee tonight, but based on how they train today, I'd suggest there'd be a couple of changes.
So you've run through a few, but just in a nutshell, who are you looking at to come in?
Oh, well, as I said, Levi's available for selection. Ben McKinley and Cam Pedersen are in terrific form at VFL level, and Cameron Richardson had it 34 times for North Ballarat. So we've got a lot of options that we've really got to closely assess. And Werribee's win on the weekend over the Northern Bull Ants, every North Melbourne listed player played really well. So, and it was pretty similar up at North Ballarat. So we've got a lot of options there. We've just got to pick the right mix.
You had a fair old exchange with Scott McMahon on the phone. Have you spoken to him since and outlined your thoughts?
Yeah, look, the things that some players, it's a coaching tactic to really ensure that players get messages. Sometimes if they're not getting their message clearly, it has to be delivered in a pretty stern fashion, and I really have to build myself up to do that because I'd like to think that most of the time I'm a fairly calm and measured coach, but sometimes as a coach you need to deliver a message in a certain fashion so that it has the most effect, and Scott certainly got that message on the weekend. But I think the umpires have suggested that they might have been a bit quick on the whistle too. So. It's a bit of confusion now around the advantage rule. Scotty didn't know whether Brown had taken a mark or it's a free kick. Didn't know whether to pick the ball up or whether to leave it. So it's a tough one for him, but I certainly spelt out my thoughts on it fairly clearly.
Lindsay Thomas's inaccuracy, that was 10-21 or something. Does he do anything? Is there anything you can do to try to rectify that, or is it just a...
Yeah. well, he's up to 10.21, so he's improving. He was worse than that at one stage. So, he kicked the first goal he kicked on the weekend against Brisbane was a tight shot from the boundary, and he kicked it. So, all Lindsay can do is continue to work on her training. I'm really confident with the coaches and the sports scientists that we've got working with Lindsay on his kicking. It's just a matter of that continual repetition in his training, and he's working extremely hard on it during the week. And if you keep working hard, and you're being well coached, eventually the results will come.
Does he feel a bit more pressure without Matty Campbell there, do you think?
No, I don't think that Matty makes any difference to Lindsay's performance. And the other forwards, Aaron Edwards and Drew Peach have been performing really well. So he's got a lot of support there. And one of the strengths of our forward line potentially is its flexibility and it's, I suppose, a bit of X factor there. And Aaron Edwards and Lindsay Thomas are hard players for the opposition to match up on. So Matty Campbell will only add to that when he comes back.
You've had a terrible run with injuries so far this year and through the pre-season. Do you get a sense, all the players you're talking about who are coming back, that maybe the tide's turning a little bit now?
Oh, definitely. We've been, touch wood, really fortunate that we haven't sustained any in-game injuries for a while. So, and the players who are really back from the pre-season who have been injured are starting to filter back into the side now. So, we expect that over the next month to 6 weeks we'll be close to probably Aidan Kennedy aside, who's got a season-ending knee injury, back to full availability.
What would vacillating mean to you to have him back? He played every game.
Every game last. Oh well, he'd add much needed composure and skill execution. He's a really clean player and he's mature beyond his years. So it's not often you say that a 19-year-old's a vital part of your midfield mix. So we're looking forward to getting him back, and it'll be good to see him out unrestricted doing full training today.
Brad, there's just speaking about 19-year-olds, there's a story today about baby boomers finding it hard to interact in the community and with each other. Have you found your experience either under a baby boomer, which is probably Lee, and how hard do you think it is for the baby boomer coaches that are out there, which is probably the older ones, to interact with the young teenagers now?
Oh, I think that life, like football, evolves very quickly, and with the advent of a lot of recent technology, things change very quickly. And unless, as a coach or an older person, I'm starting to put myself in that category now, unless you keep up with those trends, there can be a gulf between the younger generation and the older generation. So I think it's important that you stay across all those trends and you never forget what it was like to be a young person and all the challenges that faces young people these days. We often, as coaches, lump players into the same category and think that they've got everything handed to them on a silver platter, when in actual fact young people face the same challenges that we all faced when we were their age. So it's important as an older coach that you don't forget that, and you remember what it was like to be a teenager or a young 21-year-old. And there are a lot of challenges in their lives.
Do you reckon the older ones have trouble communicating with the teenagers at all?
Yeah, I think mainly because they forget what it was like. The older you get, generally the wiser you get, and you tend to forget just how hard things were when you were that age. So I think if you can put yourself in their position, I think you can come from a position of understanding, and you can relate to them a lot better. It's when you close off and you start forgetting how many challenges you face at that age that you start to get out of touch.
Not sure if we discussed Sam Wright earlier. Was he fit to go?
Sam's got a shoulder injury at the moment, which is restricting him. We've got to monitor him really closely. We think he's close to a return this week, and he'll do full training today. But we just won't risk him. He's going to be a really important part of our future, and he's already an important part of our present. So, we thought that he'd struggled a little bit in the last few weeks. So we just got to make sure his shoulder's perfect before we bring him back in.
Brad, Todd Goldson looked a little bit sore towards the end of last week's game. Is he okay?
Yeah, he just got a cork. If you have a look at the vision, big Matthew Leuenberger kneed him right in the adductor muscle of his thigh. So he just got a bit of a cork, but he'll train again today and he'll be fine to play this week.
AFL officials having a look down in Tasmania today. Are you surprised it's taken so long for you guys to do a goal rate or something like that?
No, it doesn't. I can't really comment because I'm not really speaking from a position of privileged information there. That's something that our commercial operations deal with, and I just coach the football side wherever we play.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.